There we are, and we are live. We're back. We're back. We're back. Welcome everyone to our weekly live. We got a few topics to jump into today, but we're gonna um, give people some time to get into the room, to get the notifications. I sent some stuff out on social media. I always feel like you have to really like send it again, like right when you go live.
Mm.
So I'll try to do that. But you know how fast I am at this social media stuff on my phone. So quick.
So quick, so quick.
Um, yeah, that might not be the most efficient use. Um, but no, we're gonna let people we'll give people some time. It usually takes a few minutes for people to join in, or you might be listening in on the recording. So if you are and you don't want to wait around for all of this and you want to just jump right into it, feel free to use the timestamps. We've been putting timestamps, especially in the YouTube recording, so that you could find a topic that's related to what you're interested in, click that timestamp, and it'll take you right to it. So if you want to kind of jump around a little bit, you can. Or if you just want to, be a part of the conversation. I mean, this is a conversation. It's not a presentation. Denise and I kind of explore these things, talk about them. If you want to know the context, feel free to just follow along and relax and enjoy the ride, as they say.
Relax. Get your tea, get your coffee. Can you believe it's the middle of August though? Like I can't believe it. Tell you the truth. I feel like it was just May.
Not me.
No? It feels like it's been going a long time for you.
It's been a long it's there's been a lot that's happened this summer for us. So there's been just, a lot of things that have happened. I mean, if I had to put everything into 1 year, there's a lot moving and all this type of, all these new things. Amir everything with him is new.
Yeah.
Our son is now at the age where he can like do things. He's about
Damn.
he's 16 months. So you can, do things with them, go to events. He's in swim class, so taking him to the swim class. Um, there's all this like new things that are happening. So I feel like the year has been packed with so much stuff. So
I got I don't know if you have it on your phone, but I have like this little widget that shows me a highlight of some pictures, whatever. They just pick them randomly. And I was looking at a picture and I was like, where the hell is that? And where was I in January that I saw that beautiful water? And then I totally forgot we were in Hawaii.
we were in Hawaii this year. Yes,
I mean,
dropping off product.
that's just insane to me. I'm like, oh my God, we were in Hawaii just a little bit ago.
That's right. We were in Hawaii, and then we did the southern tour where we went down and dropped some products off, some Trello Grow LST units in Hawaii. Then we went down south, and then we were in New Jersey. I mean, and it's just not the dropping off of it. It's the procurement of all the supplies, the assembly, getting everything together when it comes to the the supporting material, the product support. All of that happened this year.
Whirlwind.
It was a lot. It was a lot this year, and we've got a lot more to do. I'm actually participating in an incubator program, and it's one where you sign yourself up for it. So that's going to be huge and helpful. It's going to modify our marketing approach for those out there that are entrepreneurs starting your business, selling a product, selling a service. You know that you could do inbound marketing or you could do outbound marketing. And inbound marketing is really when you're trying to utilize social media, Google, your website to get people to kind of become attracted to you, so that they come towards you, so they come in, and then you can get their emails and develop relationships, and then eventually close and have some sales. Outbound is more going out and finding the people that you think this is great for and going right after them. So we've in the past utilized a lot of our time with inbound, which is costly. And we decided to switch it up and put more energy into the outbound. So to do that, I'm participating through an incubator program that's going to help us get that together and get that going, so that we'll be working a lot more efficiently than we were before, and it'll help us to reduce the cost on that, because inbound marketing is really a lot of ads that can really eat up your marketing budget. So we're trying to be mindful. There's a recession coming. There are companies that are slimming costs, and we're similar. We're looking at our costs and trying to figure out how can we continue to provide our services, provide our product, but also make sure that we're not burning ourselves, burning our runway at the same time. So reducing expenses, looking at different ways that you can market that don't cost as much. We're doing all that. Yeah, that's fall of 2022. That's what we're going to be focusing on. So we got more to do. Packing it in this year. Packed it in this year. We really did. Um, but yeah, for those of you that are just joining us, thanks for checking us out. My name is Aja. I'm the CEO and one of two co-founders of Trello Technologies. And we also have with us today
Denise. Hi, everybody. I'm
Denise,
here.
who's a Trello team member, a personal friend, a
Mm,
accomplice. We came up with
mm,
that term last week. We're
we
gonna
did.
keep that term. Denise also goes by Snuffy G,
I
which
do.
is her nickname. Which is, if you want to know more about that, you may have to go back a few lives. We've been going. We've gone. I think this is our 21st week that we've
You're
been.
really?
It's either yeah, it's either maybe 20 or 21, something like that. But nonetheless, if you want to learn more about that name, please feel free to go back. But really, we got a lot to talk about today, so just
Yeah, we
stick
do.
around. We got some company updates we're going to jump into real quick. We want to talk about the update of what's going on with the water crisis. It's a global water crisis. If you are paying attention to the news, you may know that this is not just a U.S. issue. There are things happening everywhere. The what is it? The Times, a couple of other rivers in Europe are also starting to dry up. There's been some issues with big cargo,
Mm,
ships having issues getting banked. So this is not just a U.S. issue, but today we're going to talk about what's happening in the U.S., specifically out west. We talked about it on a few lives prior, and there were some kind of warning bells that were going off. We want to go back to that and figure out, are things getting better? What are people doing? What's the federal government doing? So we've got, and the federal government just made an announcement just yesterday. So we're going to cover that during this live. So stick around for that. And then we're going to talk about the move towards indoor farming and vertical farming, and why is it that that might make sense for this water crisis that we're facing. So we're going to touch on that. So stick around. Like I said, if you're listening to the recording on YouTube, we put timestamps so you can jump around to things that you think are most important. But if you've got some time, please spend it with us. We appreciate you doing so. Drop a comment. Let us know where you're from. Let us know if you have a question. We would love to try to answer it, and if we can't, we'll get back to you when we can. But yeah, feel free to be a part of this conversation, and it's not just kind of a one way thing for us. So please jump in. Um, what do you think, Denise? Should we get going?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's get going. It's been about 10 minutes. We gave people some time to jump in. Let me share my screen. We're going to start with some company updates.
Mm.
And this one is funny. This has a little bit of history to it. This South by Southwest panel picker. So we are looking to present at South by Southwest. The title of our presentation is "Sustainable Isn't Enough" when it comes to food scarcity and ag tech. And if you've been following what we do, you know that sustainability is definitely great, but you also have to think about longevity and resilience, especially because the climate is changing so much. So I want to talk about that topic and give some examples. And I wanted to do it at South by Southwest. So in order to participate, to present, you have to kind of create this profile page, let people know what are you talking about, and then they have to vote for you. So you can see on the right hand side over here, it's cast your vote, and you only get you're only able to present if you get enough votes. So we are asking all of our supporters, investors, friends, haters, even if you don't care, still vote. Um, um, we would love to get your vote so that we could uh, participate in this. But the thing that's weird about the fact that we're doing it this way is that, what was it, 2020, right?
2020. Yeah.
Ugh. In 2020, we were chosen not to just present, but to pitch.
Mm.
We were chosen to pitch at the South by Southwest event in 2020 in the Innovative World Technology section. We applied. We made it through a certain amount of like criteria. We were selected, purchased tickets, and everybody knows what happened in 2020. And South by Southwest is typically in April, so you
Mm.
know, COVID started happening December, January. By February, I think they pulled the plug on South by Southwest. February or March or so, they pulled the plug and said we're not doing it. Um, and we lost the opportunity to share our mission and to get some additional investment from a whole different set of people. So it was kind of a blow. It sucked, but there were multiple people that were dealing with this issue with COVID. So everybody was kind of feeling, all right, what's this new world we're facing? So we're back. But this time we need to be voted in. It's a different strategy. We just want to present. We're not pitching. So
Yeah, which is ridiculous. You should just automatically be granted access again, like
well,
anyone who wasn't.
well, they did offer
The
for 20.
virtual thing or something,
Uh,
right?
well, it was no, it was a free ticket to
Oh,
attend, but you still had to pay to get yourself out there, your accommodations, yada yada. So, and if we're not able to present, it really didn't make sense from
right.
an expense perspective. So, we said thank you, no thank you. But this time we'd like to, if we can at least present and make sense to be there. So, if you want to see, if you're a supporter, investor, interested in what we're about and want to see this topic being promoted out there, please take some time to cast your vote. I don't know, Snuff, did we drop the link in the comments yet?
Nope, not yet. We can.
We'll drop a link in the comments so that people can vote for us for this South by Southwest panel picker.
Panel picker. Say that 10 times quick. And you do have to create an account and log in order to vote, unfortunately, but it doesn't take that long. So please do it.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. Some real quick information, your typical stuff. Cast your vote, and also share this if you can on your social media feed so that other people can cast your vote. If you're an investor, this is definitely one of the ways that we ask our investing community to support us and to help spread the word, spread awareness. So voting and things like this, and then doing the next thing to share it with your network, post it on your own social feed is incredibly valuable. These things are all about who sees it, because you can have an incredible topic, but if people don't see it, don't know about it, it may not get out there. So please take some time if you can.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Bill just commented.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate that. Yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah, sharing it. And what do we have next? So speaking of investors, we've also wanted to let people who have yet to invest to know that time is running out. We only have 1 week left on our current round. This is our second regulation crowdfunding round on WeFunder. Let me put the banner up here so that people can see. Here we go. That you can go to wefunder.com, type in Trello Technologies, and we'll pop up. And you can look at our profile page. This is a link of what some of our other investors have already said. We've got Bill Dockett on there that's participating and watching our lives. Speaking of these lives, we update. We put all the recordings of all of our lives are also on this page. This is a really great place, in my opinion, to go to get your hands around everything that it is that we put out there. So go to the WeFunder site, see what people are saying. You can become an investor for as little as $250. Every little bit helps. And we're going to be utilizing that really for this new sales and marketing strategy, as well as doing some R&D capacity development.
You're going in and out, Asia.
Yeah.
Asia.
Yep, I hear you.
Okay.
You can just jump in when that happens. That way.
Yeah, I don't even like you just went like totally like in and out. Sometimes it comes back, and sometimes it's like you go.
Yeah, the drama continues with Xfinity. The drama continues, but nonetheless, The time is running out. We only have 7 days left. This closes Wednesday, the 24th. So if you are an investor and would like to increase your investment, you can do that until that time frame. If you've yet to do so, please check it out. We're going to be ending this round, and we don't have, I can't at this moment share publicly what our plans are for our next round. So just know that for 2022, this might be your only opportunity to participate as an investor with Trello Technologies. We're doing some incredible things, some innovative things, thinking outside of the box. We've been doing this since 2016. We're not going anywhere. We're devoted. We're dedicated to this, and we've got a big problem that we're trying to solve. So there's a need for this, and if you want to be a part of it, have some skin in the game, have some sort of ownership in the company, this is the way to do it. So please make that move before Wednesday, a week from today, the 24th. All right. Okay. Let's jump on to the next. So we're going to talk about the water crisis, specifically in the U.S. And we've been talking about this for a few weeks. We did something about why are farmers, what was it, Denise? Why are farmers being paid to
Yep,
not farm?
to not farm.
Yeah, we did that one.
Hmm.
We did um, what's going on with the Colorado River, Lake Mead, Lake Powell. We're going to touch back on that again. There were some issues in Nevada with wildfire contaminating the water. We
Right.
talked about that. All of these things have been happening for quite some time, and we wanted to do an update on them. But before we jump in, let me just hide my banners here, get the appropriate ones going, so everyone can see. There you go. I found this image online, which I thought would be really helpful for us to start here today, because the scale of the problem, unfortunately, I do see some of this in the news, but not enough. And I think if people understood the magnitude of the impact of the Colorado River drying up, they might be a little bit more like, this is pretty significant. The Colorado River, as you can see on this screen right here, on this image I'm showing you, runs through several states. I mean, look at this. California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico. The Colorado River takes its water from a lot of different sources, but there are two main bodies of water that really support and keep the water flowing through the Colorado River. And that's Lake Powell, which you can see here, and Lake Mead. We did a live maybe a few weeks ago about Lake Powell drying up, and how there's a little, if you can see it, there's this little black mark right there. Can you see that, Denise?
I do. I can see it.
That little black mark is a dam. There's one here right at the bottom of Lake Powell, and then there's another one over here right at the bottom of Lake Mead. This dam here is called the Glen Canyon Dam. Provides hydroelectric power, which means it provides energy, electricity to the region. A lot of states get their energy from the hydroelectric dam right off of Lake Powell, and then you have the Hoover Dam at the base of Lake Mead, which everybody knows more about. Hoover Dam's a little bit more popular than the Glen Canyon Dam. But they're both important, and you can see how they kind of impact all these states. So as we talk about the news and what's going on, I just want people to kind of have a visual understanding of how, when you're saying one lake's going to dry up and it's going to impact all these different states, this is why, because of how it's laid out and how it's all interconnected. We're all connected. You can draw your little state lines if you want to. But we are actually all united by water, despite
By water.
not by the government, but by water. We're all united. So and like I mentioned here, there's several states, even Mexico, which is not on this image, but even Mexico gets some of its water from Colorado River. So this is huge. The unfortunate thing is that the drought continues. We talked about this before. You've got, U.S. drought-stricken states to get less Colorado River water. As I mentioned previous to this, the Interior Department, the federal government, has been looking at this, monitoring it, and they have just announced what it is that they're going to do about the current state of Lake Powell and Lake Mead drying up. Earlier this year, they already talked about Lake Powell and said that people are going to have to cut their water supply because we use this water to run electricity, and if we don't have enough water, we can't generate electricity. So you're going to have to cut down. But they knew that wasn't going to be enough, so they decided to do some investigation and to make a more formal announcement about what needs to happen in 2023 to protect Lake Powell, Lake Mead, the Colorado River, and water and electricity for all of these different states.
Can I say something for a
Of
second?
course, yeah. Always.
Keep in mind too that this is a mega drought that's been happening for 22 years. Like this isn't anything like new. Maybe the urgency is new, but this has been happening for 2 decades. And I think for me, it astonishes me that there was no forethought in, hey, if this continues, I mean, I would think after 10 years, be like, oh crap, we're in a difficult situation. How do we kind of mitigate this and minimize the impact in the next 10 years? Because climate change is real. They knew what was coming. I guess I just can't wrap my head around that this is 22 years in the making and we've gotten this way. I know that there's been unfortunate circumstances with wildfires, etc., but it's been 22 years, Asia. Like what's going on? Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Just wanted everyone to be mindful that this isn't new. 22 years is a long time.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not new, and I think there's a plethora of reasons why it's being, it's like the frog in the boiling water scenario of, oh, it's not bad, it's not bad, and oop, I can't stand it, I have to get out, and
right.
We're getting at that point where people are like, oh no, now we have to do something. It was tolerable before, but when situations get past tolerable, that's when action takes place. And unfortunately, it can be too late. It can be done inefficiently because you're rushing. If you planned it in advance, you could have done it smoother with less resources and maybe with a better outcome. This is why I try to, my mindset is think in advance. Think about what's going to happen 10 years from now, 20 years from now. There are people that are getting into different industries because it's the hot thing to do right now. But if you're not thinking long term, you're not going to last. And the environment is changing. It impacts all business types. There's no one that's not going to be impacted by this.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't get electricity, it's going to impact everyone. You're going to have to find alternative solutions, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later in this during this live. But we wanted people to see that things are not. The government is starting to make changes and starting to restrict water usage. Says here, Colorado River provides water to 40 million people across 7 states in the American West, as well as Mexico. Cities and farms across the region are anxiously awaiting official hydrology projections, which basically means how much water they're going to lose. People are wondering what's the state going to do, because the Department of the Interior and some of these other entities, they have the capacity to just start turning water off. Like if it gets to a certain level, and that is a possibility that water will be turned off.
And stop washing your cars. Stop. Just stop it. I hate that.
Let's see. What do we see? Yep. Lake Powell's dropping. Mexico. So on Tuesday, and I'll show you the Interior Department's write-up on this. Under Tuesday's reductions, Arizona will lose slightly more water than it did this year. So Arizona is going to be impacted by it. Mexico, which is not a U.S., but it will also be impacted by it. And Nevada will also lose some water. Now, actually, when I showed you the image of the maps, how Lake Powell and Lake Mead are kind of interconnected, you saw that California is a part of that as well. And why isn't California being impacted? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but California put their foot down somehow. They were able to. Here we go. Here's the actual release from the Department of the Interior, which just came out yesterday, saying, all right, crisis is worsening drought crisis continues. The Department of the Interior is announcing urgent action to improve and protect the long-term sustainability of the Colorado River system. which will have an impact on a lot of different states. Um, Given the 23-year, this goes back to what you said, Snuffy. This has been going on for a while. Given the 23-year ongoing historic drought of low runoff, um, downstream releases from the Glen Canyon and the Hoover Dam. So, for anybody who might have missed it that just joined, I want to give everybody a visual representation of geographically what this looks like. So, again, we've got this is the Colorado River running through all these states, providing water and electricity because there are hydroelectric dams on this. There's one dam here on Lake Powell, Glen Canyon Dam, another lake here, another dam here, the Hoover Dam. So you get your water, you get your electricity from these sources, and they run through all these states. So the Interior Department is saying Lake Powell will have to operate at a different tier. Now there are different tiers, which means how low the water. Every time the water drops a certain elevation, the urgency increases. So you wind up being put in a different tier of how much water you can use. So things are getting dropped down into lower tiers, meaning more water will have to be, um, you know, conserved and used differently, or eventually shut off. But down here, I just wanted people to see that for Lake Mead, there's no required water savings contributions for California under this condition. So, from what I've researched and read, in 2019, all the states that kind of are impacted by the Colorado River, they all got together and made up a plan, and they decided to use Lake Mead as the water elevation that would say when they need to start pulling some water, that when they need to stop using water. And California uses the bulk of the water. Out of all the water that gets moved, that gets used from the Colorado River, I think California has, my memory serves me correctly, close to 60%.
Yeah, I think that's what you said. Yep.
Yeah, they get close to 60% of the water off the Colorado River. California has also been just going through its own droughts because of, the heat temperature increase. So California has been in a state of drought for quite some time. So they basically said, look, we need this. You can't reduce us any further. So what's going to wind up having to happen is, unfortunately, if things don't improve and the water level continues to drop and things wind up going to another tier where the urgency increases, then they'll have to they'll be impacted by it. But we're not quite at that stage yet. That could be something that might happen in 2024, 2025. But as we talked about this before, California is already paying their farmers not to farm because they need them to stop using the water. So California is dealing with this in a different manner. But Arizona and Nevada will definitely be impacted. Some people may say, oh, well, Nevada, Las Vegas, they get their water from a lot of different sources. And that's true. They do. Nevada, luckily, has one of the least amount of usage from the Colorado River. They don't need it that much. But they do have a problem. Climate change a climate change incurred problem. They've got a problem where there were wildfires that wound up putting ash, soot, and all this type of stuff into their water supplies, so that their water supplies are now contaminated. And you can see here, Nevada they have 40 days left of clean water. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. They were at 50. The numbers dropped down to 40. Yep. Where people in Las Vegas, and here you can see, people in Las Vegas knew they were running out of water, but the situation is worse than they thought. We only have less than 40 days of water left.
Makes me nervous.
Yep. Now, this talks about, their other sources of water. They say a temporary fix is drawing water from Story Lake and treating it for municipal use. The city is also waiting for the arrival of a temporary pre-treatment system that will treat the water in the Galinas. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Apologies if I'm not. River. Now, I think we talked about this. He said when you bring this equipment in to help after the fact, you have to hope that it can actually treat water this is and right treatment this kind of
Yeah, so the treatment system that they have can't do or can't churn through all like the debris or the soot from the water, like ash and everything. So they did just order this. But here's the thing, Asia, they just ordered it last week. We've been talking about this specifically about 3, 4 weeks ago, almost a month, when it was at 50, like 50 days. So what was that, 2 weeks ago, whatever?
Yeah.
But they knew that it was getting low then. Like, I just don't understand this. And it's going to take a while for it to get it delivered, up and running.
Hmm.
And you won't see the good effects from it for like another maybe like 30 days. So then what, you have 10 days left of water? Like it's just insane. Sorry, I jumped in because you were cutting out.
No, no, that's fine. Please do. And while you were doing that, I just saw Bill ask another question, which we're going to be talking about very soon. How does water conservation and Trella, what are and these other methods, how will they impact this, and how can they potentially be solutions? And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, Bill. So please, if you're still with us, stick around, and we'll cover that and answer that question for you. Thanks for bringing that up. Little tease for what's coming down the line.
Little tease.
Appreciate that. Um, but yeah, they got to do water treatment, and it says, and I think we even said this last time too. We said, what are they going to wind up doing? Having to hand out bottles of water to people. And sure enough, here you see, for anyone in Las Vegas who needs clean water, the city will be distributing bottled water next Wednesday at the rec center.
Come to the rec center. Get your bottled water
Yeah, yeah.
every day that you're gonna, because they're probably gonna limit people, so there's going to be limitations on how much bottled water that they're going to have, and that's going to get interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so what all of this to say, everything that we've gone through so far, letting people know about the current state was to really let people understand that for multiple reasons, Colorado River drying up, climate change, temperature rises, all of these different things, the amount of water that we have for farming, for agriculture, is not the same amount of water that we had 20 years ago, and it won't be this, and we won't, and what we have now will not be the same amount of water that we have 5 or 10 years from now. We have to start looking at things that will uh, take this into consideration, that are adaptable to all these changes that we're going to be experiencing. And I found this really great article. Did you want to jump in real quick, Denise?
Nope. Oh, well, I was just going to say, well, the good news is that the Biden administration just signed into the law one of the biggest climate packages that we've ever seen in the United States. So hopefully some good things will come from that. So just want to put that out there.
Yeah, and I hope that that gets used efficiently and gets to the people
Yeah.
with the real solutions. We're raising our hand for that. We would, that's what we're about. This is our mission. This is the type of stuff that, because I'm a risk engineer in natural catastrophes, these are the things that I saw coming down the pipeline. And these are one of the reasons why we started working on different ways to grow a variety of foods indoors using less energy and less waste because of that. But as you can see, people understand that the indoor farming, the vertical farming industry, um, can have an impact to help with this. I mean, droughts have been happening for quite some time. This article does make a good point of saying that farmers have had a lengthy history with droughts and are well versed in dealing with water authorities. Let me just zoom in a little bit because I just noticed how hard that might be to see. Farmers have a lengthy history with droughts and are well versed in dealing with water authorities that need to balance water across multiple use cases. However, the mega drought brings even more intense pressure on farmers, people who supply our food. In California, for example, farmers account for using 40% of the state's available water, much of which comes from gradual melting from the Sierra Nevada snowpack, which is now at a fraction of its normal level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'll jump down. Meanwhile, because of water restrictions, some farmers who are limiting their crops are continuing to tap out wells, which can cause the ground level to drop. So um, there's been some people that say, well, you can always use ground level water, but these things are being utilized by multiple people, by multiple farms. That's going to eventually start to drop too. So we really need solutions, like this article says, technology solutions for surviving a drier world, because that's what we're going to be facing. We can't keep acting like these things um, are definitely going to switch. They may. I mean, who's to say what's going to happen? There might be, you know, this incredible period of rain and snow, which will cause other issues.
Mm,
that we may experience that will help with the water levels, but they're at all-time lows. Over 20 25 years we've watched this. I mean, the capacity of the lakes are at 25 30%. We are really way behind. So how much, what are we going to do? Wait till we get to 5%? We have
right.
to start looking at things differently, thinking outside of the box. um, and indoor farming is a great alternative. In this article, it says one avenue for growth and water management is transitioning some of the farms to indoor operations. Indoor vertical farming uses approximately 95% less water compared to traditional farming,
Mm. I
making
thought
it,
that was I thought that was huge. We were talking about this earlier. I didn't realize it was that much.
yeah, 95
That's a lot.
percent It is. I mean, um, so we talked about this, and the reason why it's so huge, why is there such a reduction? If you think about traditional farming, when you're watering and you've got all these different irrigation systems, they're watering the plants, but they're also watering the soil. And there's runoff, so the water hits the soil, it goes deep down into the soil, it starts to run off, and it evaporates right back up into the air, into the environment. So the amount of water that's really used by the plant itself, the amount of water that makes it to the roots, is minimal compared to the amount of water that you actually throw out there hoping that it will
Mm,
get to the roots. And there are different methods of irrigating to do better at this, but traditionally the bulk of it winds up being wasted and evaporated back into the environment. When it comes to indoor farming, more specifically hydroponics, aeroponics, um, those are systems where you put the water right at the roots and you recycle the water in a system. So you're putting the water right at the roots. So all the water, anything that gets pulled, evaporated, is being done so by the plants themselves, which is the most efficient way you can do it. And you're recycling that water and cleaning it and reusing it again. So you don't have to worry about waste and runoff. So the the great thing about hydroponics, aeroponics, is that you're putting the water right where it needs to be, and you're making sure that it's not being evaporated and wasted in another manner. There are different types of solutions out there: hydroponic systems, aeroponic
whoops.
systems. It's all good.
Sorry
There are
about
different
that.
types of solutions out there, but um, so they'll vary. So obviously, like results will vary, but 95%, I think, makes sense to me. Um, Vertical farms are also suited for many fruits and vegetables that require large quantities of scarce water. But as you might know, one of the issues with indoor farming is that it can be very energy intensive. It requires the recreation of the sun, which means you're going to use a lot of light energy, and you got to cool that area because you got it indoors and you're bringing in all these lights. So there's a lot of heat. You don't want to overheat the plant. So you got to take all that heat, all that humidity out, recycle it. So you've got HVAC systems that are tied to all of this. There's a lot that you need to do if you're going to try to recreate the natural environment. So you have operating costs, energy costs. You may not have a lot of water, but you got other things you got to consider. So keep that in mind if you're looking to move into the indoor farming, vertical farming, or start your own indoor or vertical farm. There are other expenses that you will have to consider and things that you could do. This article says modern vertical farms feature an array of automation and technology tools that can improve yields with faster growing cycles and reduce waste. Talks a little bit about LEDs. The other great thing about vertical farming and indoor farming is that you can really do it almost anywhere. You could repurpose old warehouses, container farms, on rooftops, etc. You can make it more localized so that you're able to reduce the amount of transportation costs and the other environmental impacts that transporting food really takes. I mean, the bulk of the carbon footprint for food is the transportation.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I mentioned before, we've been working on this since 2016. We've known that this type of stuff was coming, and we've been trying to figure out how can we grow whatever we want to grow wherever we want to grow it. How can we do that? And if we do that, we need to make sure that we're mindful of the future possibilities of change. That we may not have as much water, we may not have as much energy. We may have to do it in areas where you will not have a lot of human capital or human access because the conditions don't allow for it. Um, we need to think of outside of the box. So we've got this one pager here, and we can share this
I'm sharing
too.
it right now.
For those of you that just want a little peek, a little taste of what is it that Trella does when it comes to our product and our services, this is a great way for you to kind of get an overview. And then if you want to know more, there are some links at the bottom so that you can learn more about our technology right here at the bottom, or learn more about our consultation services. There's a link depending on which way you want to go, or if you want to go both, you can do that as well. But when it comes to what we're trying to do, we're trying to, as this document says, grow tall fruit-bearing plants indoors, not just your microgreens, not just your herbs, not just your lettuce, but we're trying to grow a variety of plants indoors because we need a variety of nutritious, things to pull from to feed ourselves. We can't just rely on certain types of plants. And we also want to be able to do it wherever we need to do it with the understanding that we might need to do this in places that have climate change issues, in bunkers that might be underground, below grade, and in areas that just don't have a lot of human presence, as I mentioned before. So one of the first things we did is we came up with Trello Grow LST, which is the product that you see on the left, which will automatically train tall fruit-bearing plants to grow sideways, to grow horizontally, so that you can put them inside, stack them on multiple levels, and grow them in a vertical farming configuration. And when we did this, we also wanted to be mindful about the light costs and the energy costs. The way that we're able to do this, because we're able to control a canopy and keep it at an even height, we can get our LED lights very close. We can dim those LED lights down so that we're saving a ton of energy, and also, which will also impact your HVAC and your overall kind of energy reclamation and HVAC costs as well. So, and it's an automated solution. So if you happen to have to do this in an area where you can't get to it, or in tight spaces, or in a container farm where it's really hard to kind of get in there and manage the plants, or even one of a couple of our future ideas in utilizing this type of technology is to be able to grow plants in transit, to put our
Mm-hmm.
system in containers that are on railways, and to actually be able to grow food, and move it at the same time if needed. Because unfortunately, we'll be able to grow almost everywhere, but some places maybe we won't be able to for other reasons, political, war, all that type of stuff. You might need to be able to put food, transport food into an area that we can't really get into. This is what this is designed for. This is designed for next level stuff. Like, I want to say next level, I'll just say next level shit. This is where we're at right now. We're thinking about how can we grow whatever we want to grow, wherever we want to grow it, and with the understanding that we might not be able to get to it all the time. So it's automated, it reduces costs, it controls the plant's canopy for you, and it will allow you to grow a much wider variety of plants than you've been able to grow indoors before. That's what we're doing. On the other side of it is, we found that people want to just kind of pick our brains and get kind of the experience that we have as consultants. I've been a consultant engineer for, I'm going to say, over 17 years now, where I've been dealing with risk engineering, climate risk, sustainability, and if you just want to know, hey, what can we do at our facility, or maybe you're designing a facility from scratch, or maybe you're expanding, or maybe you're looking just to reduce your energy costs because things are getting very competitive, especially in the cannabis space, and you're looking to try to find ways to reduce costs, and you need another set of eyes, you need another opinion. We're here to help you with that as well. Please check us out. Depending on your needs, you can go in one direction. It could be the product that you might want to learn more about. Click that link down there at the bottom. Or if you want to schedule a free consultation, learn more about our consultation services, you can click this link over here on the right as well. We're here to help. And even our consulting will offer solutions that might be Trello related, but it also other solutions. We look at this problem, this need to be able to grow whatever it is that we want to grow, as a solution that a lot of other people are working on as well. And there's some other innovative technologies, some other like really great solutions out there. We're tapping into all of it. We're not just trying to, push down our throats our way. It's more about helping people who understand that there is a need, and pointing them in the right direction so that they have what it is that they need to have to make sure that they can continue to grow, continue to produce quality food, quality plant medicine, without having to worry about increases in supply chain or cost and materials, or without having to worry about climate change and floods and hail and how that's going to impact their facilities. So that's what we're if you want to learn more,
Yeah,
all
if you
right.
want to learn more, Trella.io, or just email Asia at Trella.io too.
Yep, for sure, for sure. So you have that one pager here in the comments. You've got some of the articles to go back to. Bill, if you're still with us, hopefully that answered your question about how can Trella help with water conservation. Like I said, it's about helping people figure out different ways to have innovative solutions that are adaptable to all of these changes that we're facing. Um, one way won't work forever.
Mm,
One way won't work forever. You're going to have to be a little bit more innovative and thoughtful about this. And for those people that are already in that mindset that want to know more, please reach out. We're here to help.
I love that. One way won't work forever. I think that's something that should be adopted in almost in every single aspect of society. You know, I mean, if we're gonna be real.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, people are unfortunately hesitant to change, but change happens no matter what you do. Change happens. You can't control it. You can't control it. We're all tied to this together.
Yep.
Like I said before, so you may have your one little square, but please understand that you can't seclude yourself to the point where you're not gonna have to worry about the outside environment, the your society, your community. We're all in this together, and that's another reason why I'm pushing this is because I don't want to live in a world where we can't grow our own food because of restrictions or because of climate change or because of political issues, because that has been in the past, in past history, has been an issue as well. Governments have decided to tell people that they can't grow things. We're dealing with
Yep.
that in Holland, in Netherlands rather. Right now you've got farmers who are being told they can't grow. So this is a movement for us. This isn't just one little product. This is about an overall movement. Um, so again, if you want to know more, going back to the beginning, please um, you know, check out that one pager. If you get a minute to cast your vote for our South by Southwest panel picker, we're looking to present at South by Southwest. We had the chance to do it in 2020. COVID wiped that clean for us. So we're back at it again. Please cast a vote so that we can go out there, present, share our ideas, share our mission, and partner up with people who are in alignment with that. And then lastly, we only have 7 days left on an opportunity to become an investor in what we're doing to support this mission, become an investor, have some skin in the game. So go to wefunder.com, only 7 days left, and then we're done for 2022. So thank you to everybody who put comments in, who are watching this live, watching the recording. Please share, like, subscribe. Let the algorithms know that this is stuff that you want to see and stuff that you want other people to see as well. We really appreciate it. Anything else that I forgot to touch on?
No, I think you touched on everything. It was a good show today.
Sweet. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate your time, your energy, and we'll be back. Mad peace, mad love. See you next week.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye.